All right, the video today is kind of like an onion, right? Multiple layers. We got to kind of peel back each layer and reveal a completely new, I don't know, new situation, okay? First, I want to kick it off by saying I've been sick as shit for like a week. I could barely talk like 3 days ago. And even in my last video I made like 4 or 5 days ago, I was complaining about not feeling good. Well, it got really bad, but I'm feeling better today. Okay, enough said. But what I want to talk about before I get into the first layer of that onion, right, is why is you take Mayweather, Pacquiao, all these guys, why is it they can't just leave boxing? Let the new upcomers have their time. I mean, these guys have ruled boxing for a better part of a decade, right? I mean, why, let Spence and, Thurman, whoever, Crawford, let these upcoming guys, Lomachenko, let these guys, Mikey Garcia, let them have the attention. So it just seems like it's desperate and childish. I mean, these guys should be mentoring the younger guys coming up in these divisions. They should be role models, leaders, advisors. I mean, they have years under their belt, above these guys, and it's like, I don't know, it's almost like your dad can't stand, like let's say, you go to some event, right, and you're like outshining your dad, and your dad pushes you to the side and tries to take over the spotlight. It just reminds me of that, like very, very childish behavior, and that's what I see here. Okay, I see Mayweather just trying to stay relevant, but why? He's already accomplished everything he needs to accomplish, made hundreds of millions of dollars. There is no need for any of this. It's a circus, and there's no need for it. Kind of like the McGregor fight, which, I kind of thought that was at least somewhat entertaining. Fast forward to this shit here, and this is just, I don't even know. I mean, what do you call it? Embarrassing? So, okay, originally, the news breaks where Mayweather's going to fight this dude right here, and let me introduce you to him real quick. And you know what? For the record, he seems like a cool guy, okay? He seems like a down-to-earth, like, humble dude, okay? And I'm going to butcher his name, of course, Nasiwaka? We're going to call him Tenshin, right? And he says right here, "I'm not Jackie Chan. I promise to avenge your loss, so please watch my fight at the Notorious." I mean, he's talking to Conor McGregor because Conor McGregor, puts out a tweet, basically calling him like Rush Hour, which I think is kind of racist. I mean, you want my honest opinion, you got Conor McGregor referring to, Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan in the movie Rush Hour, making a reference to that. And he's saying, is that a tracksuit or a sauna suit, Floyd? Haha, WTF. Is it hot in Tokyo, or what's the story here? The climate change is no joke. Fuck me, haha. What the fuck is going on here? Who's the little prick next to you? That's mad shit, like something out of Rush Hour 5 or something. Chris Tucker and Jackie fucking Chan back in this bitch. Fucking brilliant. Mad little bastard you are, Floyd. Fair fucks to you, mate. No lie. Fuck it. I mean, again, Conor McGregor, I was once a fan of McGregor because I thought underneath all that bullshit, underneath all that talk, there was like a decent guy, and now I don't think so. You go back to even the Khabib fight leading up to it, and he was such an asshole. It wasn't even like entertaining. It wasn't fun like the Mayweather McGregor build up where they were like throwing insults back and forth. It wasn't even fun to watch. Like the guy just looked like my drunk uncle, making an ass out of himself. And I just don't understand like what happened to Conor McGregor. Like, I mean, he's really lost that touch with the everyday people. The people that made him into what he is. And again, I guess you could put McGregor in that category with a Mayweather. It's like they can't stand to be out of the damn spotlight. So okay, but anyway, you got this, and then even old 50 Cent chimed in. It's blurry, but I'll read it for you. He said, "Champ fighting an Uber driver." Champ fighting an Uber driver before the IRS embarrasses him again. Pay-per-view my ass. I'm watching this shit on YouTube. Okay, that's 50 Cent. He's saying that, Mayweather versus an Uber driver. And it's true. I mean, the guy, his boxing record is 0-0-0. I mean, yes, he's a kickboxer. He's got, I think a couple of MMA fights, that kind of thing. In fact, I think I've got his record. Let me see if I can find it real quick. And the height was another thing I was looking at. Yeah, right here, the height. I mean, 5'5", right? This guy flyweight, bantamweight, featherweight. I mean, so he's like way smaller than McGregor. Only 20, or McGregor, wow, Mayweather, only 20 years old. I'm wondering what in the hell is going on. Then I thought, okay, right here, they're trying to promote this Risen brand or whatever. You know, I bet these guys like paid Mayweather to get behind the brand, you know, kind of like No Boxing, No Life for Canelo. And, you know, maybe it's all about promotion. You know, I thought, okay, well, that could be it. So, anyway, long story short, here, actually, let me read you this right here. 20 has significant hurdles to overcome beyond experience. Mayweather 50-0, 5'8". Nasukawa is 5'5". Mayweather fought UFC Super Conor McGregor at 149 pounds. Nasukawa, a southpaw, currently holds the Rizin featherweight belt at 126. Okay, look, 126 pounder. I mean, come on, that's like what, Nonito Donaire? Like, that's crazy. You know, I mean, fighting a 126 pounder. You know, and you know, Mayweather's not a big, you know, a big welterweight or whatever, but still, I mean, they're at least like 2 divisions apart. I mean, so he has no business fighting this guy. It's just ridiculous to me. Like I said, he's never had a real boxing match in his life, you know, so none of it made any kind of sense. And I was just going to get on here and shred Mayweather about the whole thing. Well, like I said, that onion. Okay, then Mayweather puts out another layer, okay, to the story, so you got to peel another layer. And I'll read a little bit of it. He says, now that I'm back on U.S. soil after a long and disappointing trip to Tokyo. Now, this is a Mayweather statement, but I guarantee you his dumbass didn't write this, okay? I know Harry Potter, he can't read a Harry Potter book, remember? I know, or I now have the time to address you, my fans and the media, in regards to the upcoming event on December 31st that was recently announced, okay? First and foremost, I want to be clear. I, Floyd Mayweather, never agreed to an official bout with Tenshin Nasuwaka or whatever. In fact, with all due respect, I have never heard of him until the recent trip to Japan. Ultimately, I was asked to participate in a 9-minute exhibition 3-round fight with this dude. Okay, you know, selected by the Risen Fighting Federation. Okay, I guess what is it? The RFF. Okay, what I was originally informed of by Brent Johnson of One Entertainment was this was going to be an exhibition put on for a small group of wealthy spectators for a very large fee. Okay, the expedition was previously arranged as a special bout purely for entertainment purposes, with no intentions of being represented as an official fight card nor televised worldwide. Once I arrived to the press conference, my team and I were completely derailed by the new direction this event was going, and we should have put a stop to it immediately. Okay, so he's like, you know, we got completely fooled. We were tricked. You know, he said, you know, basically he's going to Tokyo to put on a big show for a bunch of, you know, who knows, like oil tycoons, like big rich billionaires, right? You know, so you have to pay $100,000 to go watch Mayweather fight 3 rounds or whatever, you know, for purely for entertainment. Well, when they get there, it turned into a real thing, a real fight, a pay-per-view, and it was complete. But I think it's bullshit. Okay, now if you've made it this far in the video, hopefully you have. I'm not going to read. I'll read you know what? Let me read the last part, and I'll tell you what I think is happening here. I'll tell you what I know is happening. I was hesitant to create a huge disturbance by combating what was being said, and for that I am truly sorry. I am a retired boxer that earns a unprecedented amount. I mean, this has got to be one of the most arrogant statements I've ever heard Mayweather make. I am a boxer that earns an unprecedented amount of money globally for appearances, speaking engagements, and occasionally small exhibitions. He's saying, I am a retired boxer. When has he ever put on an exhibition and earned an unprecedented amount of money? When? You know, I don't understand that statement is like pure ignorance right there. I am a retired boxer that earns an unprecedented amount of money globally for appearances, speaking engagements, and occasionally small expeditions. Like, when have we heard Mayweather speak, you know, to a big crowd, number one? Number two, what exhibition match is he talking about other than, you know, McGregor, right? I mean, I guess that's what he's talking about. I mean, there's one that's legit. But he hasn't defined himself after retirement as an exhibition, you know, artist making unprecedented amount of money. So I don't understand that shit whatsoever. But What do I think is going on? What I think is going on, I think Mayweather went over there because if you remember, Bob Arum would talk about going global. He wanted to take Top Rank, even Manny Pacquiao, globally. They talked about going to Dubai, to Japan, Australia. They went to Australia, all these different places because they wanted to like grow that brand, right? And I think Mayweather, that's all he's trying to do. He's trying to tap into the global market, and I don't know if you guys remember, prior to the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, he went to Africa and Mary got in like an argument with this girl because she didn't know who he was, and that offended Mayweather because he's like, oh, you don't know who I am, how dare you, right? I mean, it's just, so he wants to be like this Muhammad Ali, esque type, guy, and he's not. I mean, he's basically hated by most, loved by few. Hated by most and loved by few. He's an arrogant, wife-beating asshole, that throws around money. And if it wasn't for money, nobody would follow him. His loyalty is bought, not earned. I mean, his respect is paid for and bought, not earned. Okay, so there's a lot about Mayweather. I have no respect for a guy that beats up on women, that basically, I mean, he looks at women and people as toys, as like a piece of meat, as an object, and I don't like him. He's arrogant, he's full of himself, and unfortunately, he's milked the boxing world out of millions and millions of dollars. And here's the sad thing. I guarantee you he's going to run out of money. And, we did a video like 3 years ago on another channel I'm not going to mention that I was on, and we talked about this, how he's going to burn through that money. We already know, apparently, he took the McGregor fight because the IRS was on him, like 50 Cent's talking about, Champ fighting an Uber driver before the IRS embarrasses him again. Because remember, a big chunk of that money, he had to pay a huge debt, something like 85 million to the IRS. I mean, there was like numbers like thrown all around, but he had to pay a lot of damn money to the IRS. So, what I think is happening, I think he went over there with some kind of an intention, but I don't know. Things just didn't go right. Whatever it was, I'm not going to speculate or say I know and I don't know, but what I truly think is I think he went over there with the intention of fighting this guy, probably on a pay-per-view, and the media backlash was so bad that he had to find a way out and say, oh, we were derailed. We were completely blindsided. We thought it was going to be an exhibition match for, a bunch of billionaires, and it turned out to be a real fight, so therefore I'm going to walk away, But all the while, look at all the attention it brought to Risen, whatever company he's like promoting. He's probably invested in that company, and now, like no boxing, no life. I mean, if you're listening to me, you probably know what I'm talking about when I say no boxing, no life, right? The new Canelo Alvarez brand, so it could be a ploy to promote that. But whatever it was, whatever it is, I can guarantee you one thing: Mayweather is not the victim. The only victim is probably this dude right here. Okay, and someone in our group made a good point in Counterpunch Boxing on Facebook. They said, he probably watched this dude's highlight reel, his knockout reel, and decided, maybe I shouldn't get in there. Maybe it's too dangerous, and that's a possibility also. So, and one more thing, I want to end it here. I watched a couple other channels out there, channels with huge egos. Okay, we're going to talk about that. I'm not going to call anyone out, but just enormous egos, right? And they defended this shit. I mean, they completely defended this, but yet, Golovkin, Ibanez, Marty Rosen, terrible, and I'm not going to get too far into it, but, they're such hypocrites. This whole thing just needs to go away. Mayweather needs to go, and I hate to say it, but even Manny Pacquiao, one of my probably top 3 fighters of all time. Now, that's saying a lot. Pacquiao is in my top 5, maybe top 3, okay? It kind of changes for me, but, and I think Pacquiao needs to retire permanently. I think they've done enough, they've taken enough, they've given enough, or at least Manny has, not Floyd. But, I don't know, guys, I'll probably leave it at that. I mean, what do you make of all this? Like I said, it's a multi-layered situation, and I'm not sure who's telling the truth, and truthfully, I don't care.